Oh, they'll be calling you a radical. What's this got to do with Fukushima? Everything, the house that the nuclear energy crime syndicate built in the merger of G. So the Lillard game last night, and this is important because I stood in line, I was first in line, and this is the young Aiden, the boy in front of me, who I met 2 years ago at the thing standing in line. He's like the greatest Damian Lillard fan I ever met. And his dad's like, where's the media? Usually they'll come, you know. I says, you'll get no media. Why? And I says, because I'm standing second in line. The Ogden Standard Examiner hates my guts. Well, I hate them. You know, here at Glassman Pond, when the Glassmans owned it, it was a real newspaper. Then you change the name. They're not a paper. The Standard Examiner is not a paper. You want any news, you're going to have to get it off a YouTube site. They're not going to tell you anything. They're going to give you half-truths, just like this, reporting. Look at all the photos. You see a picture of his biggest fan who waited in line for hours and hours. Do you see one picture? They put all these. So this is important because Lillard, he's not going to let me sneak anything by. He knows me. I worked for the team in those days. You know, I was here the same time he was here. I've been here the whole time. You think I intended to stay here? I got leukemia in 2011. Given 2 months to live. You know this whole time. I'm connected to that hospital. My grandkids live 2 blocks over there. I'm born and raised right here. I got stuck here. Born and raised here. Cancer. He knows that. He watched me suck up to that big around, walking around like this. So, this is important. You won't get this, so he's not going to let me sneak anything by him. He knows what I'm up to. So, first thing he says when I lay this shirt down, because I was still plastering when he was here, you know. You can't see it hardly. But why is this shirt so important? I says, this is the shirt. I did the play-by-play, which, while I was in the bone marrow transplant, I was lowered here. They tried to get rid of us for years. The programming was so cutting edge. It was one of the top radio stations in the country. I helped run that whole thing. I did the play-by-play. We had, oh God, how about the music DJs that come, I mean, the community radio, oh. So they sold off the signal when I was in the bone marrow transplant dying of cancer. Now this is important. This is the shirt I was wearing exactly to the second the Fukushima disaster happened the year before in 2010. To the second, the greatest blow to fans in Weber State history. People don't remember this. Damian Lillard, as a freshman, came here so poor, so broke. He was so heavily recruited. I helped recruit him. I watched his game films. I knew all about Lillard. Everybody in the country knew about Lillard in high school. Why wasn't anybody touching him? Because where he came from. His, you know, go to that neighborhood. Whoa, whoa. I couldn't believe when we got him. So he comes here. He's a pup. I don't even think he's 18 yet. I knew what we had. So, of course, Randy Ray never really did. So, this is important. No media gave him shit. He got no love here. The dude didn't have enough money to eat. You walk over here to the pie, where the cheese used to be that thick, you know, these players, his name's carved on the wall, and there he carved. I don't know how he was always going to quit. I don't blame him. He got no love from the press. All we heard was Jimmer, 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 Jimmer. So as a freshman, now I could have got him to sign anything. I have his first ticket stub from his first game. What do you think that's worth financially? But I don't care about that. I don't care. This is historical. This is a document. I was wearing this shirt in that doing the play-by-play on that game for the radio station. They're ahead 40-20 at halftime. They're ahead by 23 points in the second half with the #1 leading free throw shooter, leading scorer in the country on the floor, Damian Lillard. I'm screaming, keep the ball in Lillard's hands. Pass it, foul, doink. Pass it, foul, doink. I'll never forget Damian's looking over there at Randy. And Damian knows this. I fought with Randy like crazy over Lillard. And Jerry Carty. I'm like, cut him fucking loose. Cut him loose. He could have put up 40 or 50. What changed Lillard was the evolution right at the end. So people don't know this. As a freshman, I talked to McCoy last night. I says, Randy Ray, now he's gone, thank good riddance. We ran him out of town. And Randy Ray says he didn't even realize that the scouts were here and everybody. Oh please. Is he that stupid? Yeah. So it was McCoy. McCoy's my size. Big Sky Player of the Year when Damian Lillard was a freshman. Now, to make a starting lineup as a freshman on a Randy Ray team is nearly impossible. Oh, Lillard did. So I says, you're the one that Randy claims that he didn't even know this was NBA material till, and then he coached. He helped Randy coach for a couple of years, and right towards the end, you had to tell him. That's true. I come to this game not to see Lillard, to see all these great. You know what kind of athletes have been in this building? I don't think people have any clue. They all go crazy in Europe. And by the way, just to watch her drop that half quarter, the young woman beat all the not so young men. Lillard's shooting contest, layup, free throw, 3-pointer, half quarter. I put it online. She drops a 50-foot bomb. Her. That was worth the price of admission. The whole $10. Lillard got no love here. How about the 3-point shooting? And I watched Jason Kidd's last game in there. I watched Jimmy Valvano cut down the nets there. I was at the Jordan game sitting right across him as it dropped. I've been to every marquee. I watched Jason Kidd's last high school game. I can go on and on and on and on. That 3-point shooting contest in there last night, it's way up there. Two of the greatest shooters in basketball history. Who I'm friends with them. Scott Bamforth walked up to me last night on the floor and put his arm around me. He says, Kevin, thank you for everything you do, man. He says, well, thank you. I get this at least 4 times a day all over. Anywhere I go, anywhere in the world. People walk up to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Of course, none of them will support me financially. But it goes back to Lillard. We're on the campus at the same time. Lillard got no love here. I can't believe he didn't quit. I remember he was always going to. He got no love. He got no media attention. None. They treated him like shit, actually. Us hardcore fans, the few of us that are still alive, that, we knew what we had. We loved him. We were like, Randy wouldn't cut him loose. So, getting no attention. So, his freshman year, they win the Big Sky regular season, but this is about tournaments. We know that, right? Not in the championship game. In the semifinal, 4 teams go at home. At home. Lillard lost in 2009 as a freshman. Montana State beat him. The 4 seed knocked out the 1 seed. I couldn't believe it. McCoy was the player that we talked about it last night. So, I don't buy new shit. My grandkids know this. They gave me this for Father's Day today. So Damian Lillard as the athlete, forget about it. To watch him evolve and turn into what he's involved, it actually blows my mind. He's one of the great athletes in the history of this country. He changed the whole thing. We talk about Curry, who changed it. His college coach let him bomb out there. Randy Ray. You shoot 35-footer on a Randy Ray team, you go to the... Randy Ray wanted to win 64-65. He used to call it slugging rats. I couldn't fucking stand it. So they lose that game. I did the play-by-play on that game. I'm sitting... Here we go. We got Lillard back next year. Oh, they go on a run when he's a sophomore. They go crazy. 2009, 2010. They're on one. Championship game here. It's 40-20 at halftime. Lillard's scorching. He's leading the country in free throw percentage. I think he's number 2 in the country in scoring. On a low-scoring team, he's unstoppable. The bracket, unstoppable. So, again, 1 year from the Fukushima down. Why that? Because that's the house that G built. when the merger of Utah Construction, who do you think built all the nuclear reactors? It's not GE, it's Utah Construction. Hello. By the way, Lillard has a mind like a trap. He's a big brain. He's a genius. He ain't gonna let nothing slide by me. He knows what I'm up to. So, he knows me. Because Lillard as the person, no, he's a gem. Lillard as the athlete, forget about it. Lillard as a businessman, oh, I want no part of that. Because I'm the anti-usury guy. His sports merchandising, I told him right to his face 2 years ago, those little fingers getting tired making your goods. He's like the sports merchandise. I buy everything. Oh, I got all those jerseys. I got them all to sign them last night. There was a gameplay jersey. I buy everything retro. I always have, even when I was a millionaire. But something happened on the way to that place. I want people to realize the Million Mass March, I didn't name it that. It was called the Post-Ignorance Project. We was leading up this. I was working hard. I was heavily involved with Anonymous. I'm on this campus. I've been, I was in New York for all those years, everywhere, all over. We were leading up for the 100th anniversary of the Shirtwaist Fire, March 25th, 2011, for the social. Did I have the fill? Radio shows everywhere. I mean, I've got millions of listeners on my multiple radio show, multi-millions. This thing's going to be epic, huge. Something happened on the way to that place. They threw a nuclear energy flag in my face again. 2 weeks earlier, Fukushima happened. And everybody's like, you've gone Fukushima mad. And I says, because nothing, it's the top. They don't illuminate, they radiate. And so, Lillard, I got to give it to him. Weber State took the low road with him. Utah media took the low road with him. He takes that. He gives back. It blows my mind the way he gives back here. And, you just see the people, the hardcore fans and the people around Ogden. He's a god. You just see him flock around. I mean, you just see him after the game. They're all lined up just chanting. Dame time, Dame time. Carl Arkley here, my old great friend, used to call him the Great Dame. But he lost. This is important for athletes and for people, whatever. The whole thing. It's been hard for me except getting the shit beat out of me and losing. AML leukemia, open heart surgery, fucking twice, including the pacemaker. The whole fucking thing. You think I wanted to do that? I'm on the campus at the same time as Lillard. There's videos clear back then. You can see Lillard walking behind me right there. I guess, I go back to Shaquille O'Neal. His sister dies of leukemia. He say anything? No, he's busy out selling crypto. Has to get served at the game. They worship their money. Why? I take the high road. They take the low road. I'll give it to Lillard. They took the low road. This university didn't know his name. We did as fans. We knew what he was. He soared at the very end. He had played in that Nike league all there, It was right at the end the scouts got on. This is a true story. I'm doing this right here. I have this shirt on. So the next year, Lillard breaks his foot. So I'm in Wendover, and I'm like, unload on Weber State. They're playing Tulsa. Damian Lillard's going to be a superstar in the NBA. We're betting Jazz. University of Utah. Oh, God. It's free money. Just like when Ruben Nemhart played here, it was free money. Nobody's paying attention. He broke his foot in that game. So he's sitting here in his boot. He would sit in the chair and just, his work ethic is, it's past legend. It's almost freaky. Randy Raid say, his cousin who won the three-point shutout was epic. Scotty bound for Devon Berry to watch that blow. They put up 21, double over to the greatest shooters in sports basketball history going at it. I got him to, I got to show you this. I'm old school, man. I'm like, no, that's the reason they still do hard tickets, because they wanted to get rid of them, and I took a fit. Oh, no. Look who signed that. That's Scotty Bamforth and Damian Berry, who I know personally really well. Damian Berry's his cousin. He's Damian Lillard's first cousin. He was all that. The last play in this place sold out was him. You know, Joe Ballin boy. You know, we didn't hit Sieglin here. We didn't get Joe Ballin boy wasn't here. Jerry Carding wasn't here. Well, but so he's got a broken foot. So Frank Layden used to come to these games. Frank Layden has swore off the Jazz a long time, and so I used to say, "Hey Frank, come on now." You know, I used to say, "Come on, do some color," you know, on these. So I'm standing there talking with Frank on 88.1 The Beat. That's one of the most powerful radio stations in the country. We took them on. They were afraid of us. Here comes this guy walking by. He's a Utah Jazz scout, which are morons. And, "Hi, Frank, over." He's like, "What are you doing here?" Frank was kind of snooty to him. "I'm here scouting play." "Who are you scouting?" Frank says. And he named off the player on the opposing team. I think it was Eastern. It might have been somebody else. I looked right there and I says, "There's your NBA player sitting right there. He's in the booth." Damian heard it. The scout laughed. And Frank said, "The Jazz are morons." I said, "Yeah, they wouldn't know a Picasso wrap around that. Neither would Weber State. Weber State didn't do anything for him." And this is a true story. I'm friends with Tim, that's head of marketing here. That jersey that I wear, I could have had Damian sign it. That's the last Damian Lillard one that they think I was given to do the games after. They would have never got rid of this radio station, but I was in the bone marrow transplant dying. So Lillard misses that year. So he comes back right before the season starts. Boom. Freight train hits Kevin Blanch, as you know, in October of 2011. Given 2 months to live. And I was a beast. Lord knows all this. He watched it. You know, the basketball team, you know, they all know it from those days. I went into a bone marrow transplant on 11/11. I lived in the LDSC state. So when I got to come out, they let me out very shortly in 2012, just for a little bit. Me and my nurse come here. I can walk about like this. I'm that big around. I'm bald headed. I got no pigment in my eyes. I got blisters on my tongue. Got heavy mask on. They played in a bracket buster game. NCAA was watching. They're like, "This team is on fire." They got a bracket buster. Back then, if you got a bracket buster, you won a bracket buster, you're probably going to get an 11 or 12 seed. Willard's best game he ever played. Played that Texas Arlington school that was dynamite. Lillard went crazy in that game. I'm in that game. I talked to him after the game. Told him I have that ticket. I could have had him sign that. So I thought about, well, you're going to have him sign because you don't going to get these opportunities. You know, stood in line from 11 o'clock with a pacemaker in it. My daughter says, "I don't know about this, Kev. I had open heart surgery this year. Harvested out of my veins. But I did it." Second in line. You see any pictures of that? And I says, "Well, standards." His dad's like, "Well, where's the media right here?" They're not going to touch us. They won't put one picture of us up in the standard. They won't put one picture anywhere because they fucking hate me. And I hate them. They're not a newspaper. Utah media is disgrace. Go ask Lillard if you don't believe me. Jimmer. I'm like, "Oh, fucking please." So Montana had recruited his old nemesis, Sherry, from the same league that Damian played in. Great player. So both of them lose like one game in the whole conference, 2 games. I mean, it was a fluke game. They lost at Idaho State on it. Or they'd have been here again. But I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's here. They lost twice here with Lillard. Let them go to Montana. Same old Randy Ray bullshit. Wouldn't cut Lillard loose. I was so pissed. I'm watching it in the hospital on TV. I'm so fucking pissed. Wanted to throw my Boost Extra Plus across the fucking floor. Same old Randy Ray bullshit. I'm like, cut him loose. That's the game Lillard finally said, fuck it. The game was over. late. And then Lillard started logo lowering 35-footers, which he should have been doing the whole time here. But Randy Ray, you can look it up. Jerry Carty, same thing. Jerry Carty's the greatest player ever played in this building. You don't think that's same? I had a long talk with Jimmy DeGrafferty last night. I says, they backdoored you. You do know this, Jimmy. The committee, everybody, I have a big ear through all these people. I know every one of them. I says, on the coach, we railroaded Randy Ray out of here. Randy Ray, I says, will never come back here. You'll never see his face here again. Randy Ray was all about the money. Randy Ray didn't want to win in March. He wanted to go on vacation with his wife. That's all he ever wanted. He sucked. You know, Sumuro freaking knockoff. I was, you know, when I worked for Randy, and me and Randy had it out in that loss in 2016 and in 2018. That loss in 2018, I was so pissed. So, or by the union, they're going to give him a contract. I'm like, no. Xavier lost to a lesser team than them. You know who was on that team in 2018? Oh my God, was that team loaded? And 2016. I said, what the fuck, Randy? You know, we're going to go back to 99. Harold Arsenault, he didn't show up. Gil didn't show up. They did before. They got no love here either. Oh, Kevin, you know, when you worked for Coach Bagley, we don't get players like that. You used to, I says, what the fuck are you talking about? And I just rattled them off. Oh, we don't get players like freaking Damian Lillard? Huh? I just rattled, like Joe Ballenboy, like Jeremy Sieglin, like Scotty Bamforth, like Kyle Tresnick, like Kyle Bollinger. You know, I just rattled them. I says, you've had more talent than any coach in the history of the school, and that's including Dick Motta, and that's including Phil Johnson. You've had more talent than anyone. You don't want to win. Me and him had it out. That was the end of him. I mean, they gave him an extension. So he got finally rode out of town because his wife was ready to retire, and so we committed. You know who won the vote through the committee? Who was going to be the coach? Jimmy DeGrafferty. Jimmy DeGrafferty has coached. He's from here. He was in my class. And I was a student professor. We talked about this last night. When they lost on that fluke to Iverson in the second round, which Nemhart missed the front. Ruben won't come back here. You know, my job was to keep Ruben in class, blah, 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 blah. They fired a Baglin, of course, after they won that game against North Carolina in 99. Haven't won one since. Dylan Jones promised me. I says, Dylan Jones didn't even know this. These players don't know the history. They're not going to tell him. I says, Lillard never played in NCAA. What? What are you talking about? Randy Ray's never won it. What? Oh, I promise you, I guarantee you, we're going to get you one. I told him last night, well, you know, I thought for sure he was a first rounder, but you're back. And you should see it already. You see him exploiting the Dylan Jones show in here. They're already selling Dylan Jones shirt. It's going to be a shit show in here this year because of Dylan's expectations. This team's going to be loaded, but I didn't vote for Eric, and I like Eric. Don't get me wrong, but he's a Randy Ray knockoff. He's been here for too long. He's not a local. He's not a Utah. We wanted Jimmy DeGraff. I'll take Eddie Gill for that matter. I told Jimmy, you know, you were going to be the coach here. He says, yeah, I would have loved to take it. And I says, God, you've changed your team from a few years ago. He says, you know, I coached. I says, of course we know. You won the state championship your first year. Jimmy DeGraffeney, in the number one school business in the United States that I taught at, and I went to as a student professor, graduated that year his class. The greatest basketball team in the history of the school, 95. My year, my class, as a student professor, Dr. Cooley. Jimmy DeGraffeney's a graduate from that class. Everybody, whoever, I mean, elites of elite. We're going to school the same time that Elon Musk is going to Wharton. Wharton's our sister school. We'd go back there and teach, they'd go back there. Elon Musk is going to Wharton the exact same time I'm going to Weber State, me and Jimmy D, at the school business, and I'm the student professor. Helping the legend, Dr. Koo, the Wallace. Look it up now. Look it up now. The FBI's in there. How do you go from number one to dead last? They're degenerates. Are good, Birdie. They rip its head off. He comes back. They upset Judd Heathcote, Sean Resper. You know, Judd Heathcote coached Montana in the old Swenson. Judd Heathcote, I think it was double, triple all-time. Michael Ray Richardson upset Weber in that building, the Waters curse. Oh, they paid him back all those years later, his last game. Weber State sent him packing. Eddie Gill and Harold Arsenault the show. No, excuse me. 95, Ruben Nemhart, Jimmy DeGraff. Oh my God, what a team. Oh my God, what a team. So they play Allen Iverson in Georgetown in Alabama. I'm at that game. Go ask Joe Bass. He's still here, the legendary trainer. Ruben misses the front end of the 1-1. Still got the game won. You know, if he makes those, it's over. Air ball. Hail Mary. This is rim and all. Stick back at the buzzer. Ruben, that missed free throw just cost you a couple $1 million. Now it would have cost them $50 million. What they make, it's sickening. But this is important. The house, the nuclear. So I talked to JJ. He's going to play in Japan. I says, don't go near Fukushima. You know. Charles Barkley says it best. Do you realize? You think you're all that? All these players? You do know you bounce a ball for a living. What does Kevin Blanch do for a living? And look, at least 4 or 5 people come up to me a day, everywhere. And I don't care where I'm at in the world. Thank you, man. Thank you. Do they financially support me? Oh, hell no. Oh, thank you. Anything you need. But that doesn't mean I don't. They take the low road. I take the high. Just like Lillard did when he played. Lillard got no love here. None. Lillard was going to quit. I remember when he was going to quit. You couldn't just transfer in those days. He was going to quit. He came here to get away. Thank God he stuck it out. He knew what he was. We all knew. I knew what he was in high school. We knew he was NBA material. I mean, he's an animal. He'll play for. He's got many seasons left. He's a physical beast. He's one of those. Obvious. So he developed in. He goes in that first round. If he'd have won that game here, they lost by 20. That wasn't his fault. Randy Ray wouldn't keep the ball in his hands. Randy Ray sucked. You know, we did the same thing up at Montana State. Double overtime. He days right Dylan Jones. I mean, he was so exhausted he couldn't even walk. Even Clocky says, do something. I'm in the. I had open heart surgery. I haven't listened to the Clocky. At least Clocky gave me some love. Clocky says, oh, our great fan, our great radio show here on the radio that I set by for all years. Kevin Blanch is fighting for his life. Right across the street, open heart surgery. We wish him love and well. Clocky's the greatest, just like Arky was. Arky used to call him the great name. We all knew it was the hardcore fans. You know, the hardcore fans, that picture I took with Dylan Jones, he's 97. You know? We know. But, oh, we love you, Blanche. We love you, this thing. Of course, they're not going to, I mean, Lillard's almost $1 billion. Of course, he's not going to support me, yet I support him. It's irony because it's the same way with him, with Weber State. When he got drafted, he becomes Rookie of the Year. Should have seen it here. Didn't know his name. Billboards with his jersey on. Buses with his jersey. They're selling over 100 jerseys a day, those out of the bookstore. I'm like, fuck Tim. You guys didn't do anything for him when he was here. Nothing. He says, here's the last one we're going to sell this first batch. It's yours. You know, I put a 0 on it, put Jerry Carding on it. That's why I had him sign this. This is the shirt. I was still plashing right up here. Getting ready to go to Europe. Getting ready for the shirtwaist fire. But something happened on the way to that place. 2 weeks before the shirtwaist fire, this multi-million people movement that I invented on this campus. Look it up, the Million Mass. I invented it. Me and John Anthony. 7 million people that day alone. Hands up. No nukes. Hands up. Matthew Stewart right here. Lillard was here when that happened right there. Look it up. Danielle Willard. Lillard was here when that happened right there. That's what it was all about. Social inequality, police brutality, Fukushima. Because nothing else matters. And so, I got to give it to Lillard. And I know he's got he's a big brain. He's a genius. How about Barry? Scott. So I got to see some of these guys that I haven't seen in years. They all know me. Got to see McCoy. You know, got to see these guys that haven't seen him ever. It's the only chance you're going to get. You know, and everybody's flocking around Damian. Well, they're flocking around Damian. I'm over talking to the real superstars. They just blaze it up in Europe. And I advise all these players, and they'll tell you. I tell them, don't take the supplemental draft like Ball and Boy did. Like, if Jeremy Siegman didn't ruin a couple years of your life. You get the big contract and you take it. Jerry Harding could be playing in the NBA right now, but he'd be sitting on the bench, you know, because they got to sell jerseys. They're heavily invested in these guys. They give them all this money. They got to sell their merchandise. Fucking pathetic. Everything I have is retro. Even when I was a millionaire, and I was a multi-millionaire, self-made in this town. You can go ask my daughters. I remember this girl I was hanging around, whatever, and me and her got in an argument, and my little girls are with us. But if you're so idealistic, why don't you make your own Christmas thing? Because she was going, I said, I ain't going to no fucking Walmart. I won't go in. And both simultaneous in symphony, two of my three daughters says, oh, he does. That's when I was rich. Now I'm poor. Why do you think they gave me this? Beautiful old Ogden. I got to give it to Lillard. I told him thank you. Because I take the high road. They take the low. They're above cancer. He has a boy-girl twin. I told him right in his face last time. I'm a boy-girl twin. You know, you need to be thinking about your children. You need to be thinking about the environment. You need to be thinking it's the ecology, stupid. You know, you bounce a ball. You make billions and zillions. I'm not participating. This thing belongs in the museum. I have a collection of this stuff. I have every game Lillard ever played ticket stubs. You know, I could have had him sign. I have the first game here. I knew what he was. But, you know, don't rock the boat, baby. Because, really, it's a sports merchandising league. Lillard is the athlete. Oh, fuck. What changed his career? Losing here. You don't think that made the man that he is losing here? And it wasn't his fault. You don't think that burned a hole in him, all of him? I remember when they played the Jazz his rookie year, I says, go unload, fucking bet the farm. I told all my old gambling friends. Of course, I'm broke. I don't gamble. Cancer took it all from me. Elon Musk, the irony of all this, Elon Musk is that we're here and we're beating Wharton in this test, and we're public. In the school business, we are beating them. I graduated the same time he did. So did Jimmy D. That great class. Remember when it IPO'd? I only had 30-something thousand shares of Tesla stock. Wasn't meant to be, was it? Play back the tape, Your Honor, in 2011. Video proof. I had to sell it to get in the bone marrow because I was on it. Weber State could have paid for it because I was the student teacher for all those years, and they stuck it to me when Dr. Cooley died. Dr. Madsen died, the Wattis curse. You don't think that burned in Lillard? Lillard knows all that I know. He's a genius. So when Lillard got in the league, he's like, they're not ready to me. This ain't happened to me again. I got a second chance. He'll stand out there and bomb 30. The greatest 40-foot, 35 logo, the greatest 35, 40-foot jump shooter in the history of basketball, better than Curry. Oh, it's Damian Lillard. And he can drive and he'll dunk it on you. He's got hands like that. So he got no love here. What created Lillard? I just told you. That's who he is. They gave him no love. And the Ogden Standard Examiner can kiss my ass. I can't stand those losers. You're not a paper. Where was the Deseret News? Where was the Tribune? You know, here's this young guy who loves Lillard. The NBA's price, my grandkids are like, we're not going. They stayed home and they'll go to the Raptors game. They'll go play soccer because the NBA's priced them out. We just had this conversation. Me and that little guy, he's like, yeah, none of my friends are interested. I wonder why. Because you got a whole generation was not able to go to an NBA game. They're in their 20s now, since Jordan. They can't go to an NBA game. The family can't afford it. So you've lost a whole generation of fans. The kids weren't here. I'm telling you. My grandkids are 12 years old. They're athletes from hell, whatever. They got no interest. We don't care. We don't care about your, NBA stuff. So Lillard got no love here. They're doing the same thing to Dylan. I had this conversation with Dylan last night. Be careful, buddy. Be careful. So you got to go with that left. Jerry Harding, the greatest player. So hopefully I get to see Jarek again someday. So I got to see people that I've known for years, including Jimmy D, that I haven't seen for a while. I see him occasionally because of the Bagland Wake, and I saw Phil John, but you don't get to see these people. Some of these guys I haven't seen since I, helped them get through college. You know, their superstar careers in Europe. But again, I got to show this one more time. So I thought about what am I going to get a sign. And I have Damian Lillard's first ticket ever. You heard him. What's this? He ain't gonna let me slide nothing by. He knows what I'm up to. This is the radio. Wait, oh yeah. It's a shirt I had on in both those losses. Saying I threw my headset across the fucking floor. I know fans that game when they're March 10th. Anthony Johnson, interviewed years later, never missed a free throw, never missed a field goal, put up like 30 in the second half. The guys from Montana Radio that were sitting next to me left at halftime. They wanted to beat the storm that was blowing in. Game's over. They were ahead by 23 in the second half. I know fans, lifelong season ticket holders there that left and never came back that game. Happened the year before. Happened to Lillard twice. Not his fault. Randy Ray, Jerry Carden, you can look it up on Jerk. I'm like, Jarek, you can go to ask him. I said, you get that offer in Europe, take it. Don't fuck around with the NBA supplement. They're just going to waste your time like they Seaglin and Ballin' Boy. Jerry Carden's the greatest player I ever saw play here. And that's saying a lot. You can look it up. It's online. Video proof. Video killed the fake media stars. Pictures came and broke your heart. Jack, Randy won't cut you loose. I've had it out. He put up 48 at Montana State, and I don't think Randy was happy about it. Why? Because they won. So I never felt like he wanted to win late. Barry's, the last time they sold out was the CIT championship game. They got beat on a buzzer beater here by the East Carolina Pirates. What a game. Oh, last time they packed this house. They'll pack it this year because Dylan Jones. Maybe. Jerk. This is before the game. In the Stewart Library. I'm like, just do your thing, man. This is it. You're the best player ever played on this campus. Show us. Do it. Look it up. You don't think he put up 25 in the first half. He set the record for the most points ever scored in that. He broke every record Lillard ever had. I got to give it to Damian. I got to give it to him. It's pretty impressive, this part. The man, as far as him, the way he gives back here and takes the high when they took the low on him, blows my mind, actually. The athlete, forget about it. He blows my mind to this day. The businessman, you can have it. No part of the sports merchandise. They all, Lillard with Weber State takes the high road. They treated him like shit when he was here. Didn't know his Utah media treated him like dog shit. I didn't. I promote every one of these guys and they know it. They don't promote me, right? None of them promote me. None of them. They're all rich. They're not about to promote me. And they know I'm fighting for my life. Full of AML leukemia. They know it. They watched it. That doesn't mean I get down in the gutter with them. They want to go low? Oh, thanks, Kev. We love you. Blah, 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 blah. I'm a millionaire. Can't even donate fucking $10,000 to my cause. Fuck, I can't fucking donate $1. What a story. Basketball metaphors matter. Kobe Bryant, to a trainer that used to train here. Legendary training program here. Kevin, many years ago. Kobe Bryant's got one of them quantum physics brains like you. What do you mean? He told us that, isn't it amazing basketball tells the tale of culture before it happens. Oh boy. Natives played basketball here. Anthony Johnson in that game. You never did that before. You never read that after. I had an out-of-body experience. To the second of the Fukushima disaster. The house that the nuclear industry who built the reactors built. Oh, you don't think each state, the elasticity of time, Albert Einstein. So this belongs in a museum. This is the shirt I was wearing on both those said games. 88.1. They sold off the signal for $100,000 when the budget here's tens of millions of dollars. They waited till I was in the bone marrow transplant. They don't illuminate. They radiate. Long video. Happy Father's Day. I hear the voices of my great-grandfathers. What a long video. What a great video. Thank you to Lillard for taking the high road and giving back to him. Because the fans here, well, they adore him. I mean, they adore him. I mean, you should have heard the chants in there last night. After the game, everybody rushes down to the thing. Damn time. You should have seen it. And these are old people. Young people. I think it moved him. It was impressive. While everybody's gathering around him, I'm over talking to the other superstars. Like I said, how about her dropping that half quarter? I got to tell this before I turn it off. I'm doing the play-by-play. This video should have millions. Of course, it's Kevin Blanch. I could have the Zabuter tape and get 21 views. I'm sitting there talking about shadow banning on Balco. They're doing the half-court shooting contest. Nobody can hit one. Nobody can hit one. No, this 3 years ago. You know, 824. Weren't those Kobe Bryant's numbers? Yeah, that was the date of that. He does it in June now. I'm glad. He says, I'm yelling. I'm standing right there. I got the headset. I'm doing it for KWCR. Damian, go show him how it's done. He walks out, half court, first one. Well, the young woman did it. It was I was like, oh. She dropped the half quarter and won the shootout. The young woman beat the not so young man. But the 3-point shooting contest before two of the greatest shooters in the history of basketball. You know, Scotty Bamforth and Damon's cousin, Davion Barry. I had quite the conversation with those two last night. Both of them. One of the highlights of my life. Scotty Bamforth came over to me, hugged me. Said, thanks, man, for everything you do. What do you think that's worth? It's priceless. Same as this shirt. So, I'm into the history for our kids because I love my grandchildren. I think Damian loves his kids. I know he does. He's a family man now. It's the ecology, stupid.